think everyone is here and in position now in front of this mobile billboard truck that we're here to tell Joe Manchin to vote for BBB, vote for Build Back Better, to uphold his promise to lower pharmaceutical drug prices. This is a question of wants versus needs. Pharmaceutical companies want more investor dividends. Pharmaceutical companies want to pay out more executive bonuses, and they want to hire more lobbyists to tell our elected representatives that they need to raise the prices even more. Joe Manchin needs to stand on the side of West Virginians who need these life-saving drugs. These life-saving drugs are going up in price year after year. The price of insulin has tripled over the last decade. This is unacceptable. And Joe Manchin needs to stand with his constituents and not with the pharma lobbyists and the greedy liars on Wall Street who want to take more of our money, whether it kills West Virginians or not. We have a great lineup of speakers here to talk more on this issue. It's hard to even know where to start. Lieutenant St. Louis is an emeritus professor of speech-language pathology and audiology from West Virginia University. He's living with hearing loss, and he recently wrote a fantastic op-ed in the Charleston Gazette-Mail about this very issue.
Well, thank you for that introduction. I'm a resident of Monongalia County. I live in the Cassville area, which is about 6 miles west of here. As was mentioned, I was a professor at West Virginia University for 42 years as a speech-language pathologist. I've been retired now for 3 years. I'm 77 years old, senior. I have a moderate to severe hearing loss, high-frequency hearing loss, and it runs in my family. I was identified when I was a teenager, but went on without age for a long time. But like most people with hearing loss, I did not get my hearing aids until years after I could have benefited from them. But after my 50s, starting in my 50s, I had to have hearing aids in order to do my job, and that is to be a college teacher, to understand what my students were asking or commenting on, or in meetings with my colleagues. If there was any background noise, I had a hard time, but even with the aids, it was hard. Like most of the therapy that I studied and worked and treated over the years, hearing aids were never covered by our West Virginia PEIA insurance. So I had to buy them myself. Fortunately, in our hearing clinic, I was able to get a discount, but the hearing aids I have before, the ones I have now, retailed at $4,500 each. That's $9,000. And then after I retired, I needed to upgrade, and on a trip to Turkey, I decided to buy them there, and I saved at least $2,500 on the hearing aids there. Untreated, well, I should say that before that, if you look at the surveys, hearing aids cost for about $1,000 to $4,000 each, but the kind that I need will go up now about $5,000 to $6,000 each. Untreated hearing loss, which affects really 75% of seniors, has been shown in some really good research studies to increase the chances of isolation, depression, falls even, diabetes, and dementia. And you won't be surprised to know that West Virginia seniors have among the lowest percentage treated hearing losses in the country. Suffice to say, hearing aids need to be included in the Build Back Better legislation, passed by the House and waiting for a vote in the Senate. It'll be paid for by lowering prescription drug costs. Just 2 months ago, a survey of 4 states, 1,000 randomly selected West Virginia voters, indicated that 74% of them favored Medicare to have the power to lower prescription drug prices for Americans. And that includes 74% of Republicans. I urge Senator Manchin to stop listening to the big pharma lobbyists and listen to his constituents, like all of you here, and support and vote for the Build Back Better bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Kenneth St. Louis. And I should have introduced myself to begin with. My name is Troy Miller. I'm a West Virginia organizer with Social Security Works. I was born in Wheeling. I live now in the Eastern Panhandle. And it is my absolute honor to be here with these other constituents and other West Virginians to tell Joe Manchin, loud and clear, we want you to vote for Build Back Better and fulfill your promise to lower pharmaceutical drug prices. We have, again, many great speakers here today, many of whom just spoke up today that they wanted to speak on this. I'm hoping Danielle Walker will still come forward and share her story as an elected state representative.
I also understand that there's a huge hiring of IRS agents they're going to come in and audit all of our transactions for about $600 in the current account. That's in the bill.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone.
See, they won't tell you about that stuff.
Okay, let me go get the picture. We are smiling. But we're not happy with our representatives. See, we are the people that have done our jobs by voting, calling, emailing, showing up and showing out. And we will not stop. See, affordable prescription drugs as part of our lifeline. And many West Virginians are dying by the second, by the minute, by the hour, by the days, by the months, by the years. And we are sick and tired of being sick and tired. We should not have to ask you, beg you, and we're definitely not compromising with you, because Build Back Better is more than Americans surviving. It is time for America to do her promise and let each and every American thrive in the United States of America. To Senator Manchin, I need you to do your job. We are not going to thank you to do your job. You was elected to represent each and every one of us, and we don't know where you get these numbers from. The promise is you support it. Don't talk about it, be about it. Move the bill, because we are tired of moving our loved ones to grave sites. We are tired of moving them to hospital beds where we can't afford the time off because there is no family medical leave. See, being healthy and getting the scripts that you need each and every day is not far and beyond. You're looking at your constituent. You're looking at your colleague. I was an insulin-dependent diabetic. In February of 2021, when I walked the marble floors of the State House of Charleston, I blindly gave myself insulin because I didn't have my diabetic supplies. I couldn't afford them. You know my name. I have sat in your office. I don't need you to take no pictures with me. And I'm not going to thank you to do your job. I just expect for you to do it. Not just for myself, but for each and every West Virginian. For each and every person that you took an oath for. And it is a shame that we stand here in the cold. It is a shame that we have to bring our personal lived experiences. And a shout out to Mindy Salango, who gave her testimonial today. We appreciate you, Mindy. We see you, Mindy, and we stand with you, Mindy. I am Delegate Danielle Walker, and I will not be quiet. We will rattle windows, and we will kick up the dust. We're going to send the emails. We're going to come see you where you are, because it seems like you forgot where you came from. Thank you.
We are so happy to be here still. And, we are speaking on behalf of the 90% of West Virginians who either use a pharmaceutical medication, prescription medication, or live with someone who uses a prescription medication. We're here for the 1 out of 4 West Virginians that are on Medicare right now. We're here for the 24% of West Virginians who have reported that they had ration doses or skipped doses in 2017 because of the high cost of drug prices. To that effect, we're here in Morgantown as part of a multi-generational rally. And I'd love to have Ariana Islam come up and share her story right now.
Can you all hear me okay? Can you all hear me okay now? So my name is Ariana Islam. I'm the current president of the College of Democrats of West Virginia. So I want to speak a little bit on behalf of young people across the state. So the Build Back Better plan, I think, would be amazing for not only the country as a whole, but definitely West Virginia. I think this country has always been founded on innovation, pursuit of pursuit of better things, and my generation hasn't really seen much legislation move that has been aimed towards that. We want something that can transform the country for generations, such as the New Deal, for example. So we're well aware of that. When we're clamoring for Congress to give us new programs, modernize old ones, because we know that we can be capable of so many greater things. And so as my generation starts to get out into the workforce, start families of their own, and take leadership positions, we want to be set up for success. So we want a country where we can afford to raise our children, where we don't have to live paycheck to paycheck, and where we can afford health care that we need. And so one of the issues that the bill actually addresses is child care. So we all know that child care is incredibly expensive. And so many of my generation are waiting until later to have children, or just choosing not to have any at all because they can't afford to. So part of what this bill does, it makes it easier to raise a child. So it helps cut the cost of child care for parents. It also includes provisions such as universal preschool. So this will help to equalize educational outcomes for our next generation. It'll also help expand preschool meals to our children. I know that I benefited from those when I was in K through 12, and we should see every child in America get a free meal. And of course, we know that prescription drug prices are too high, too expensive, and that is an issue that affects people young to old. So as Delegate Walker spoke a bit about before, the price of insulin is a great example of where students and older folks alike, they both struggle to afford it. And so something that the Build Back Better plan could do is help to put a cap on insulin, meaning that the people who need that can actually afford to have it. Other countries don't have the same issues as we do, and so why can't we be like them? And the best part about the bill is that it's fully paid for by adequately taxing corporations in the wealthiest in the country so they can pay their fair share. So it benefits the people. It will be a great thing. And also, I am representing Delegate Fleshauer here. She wanted to be here but couldn't make it due to legislative commitments. But she sends her best and hopes to see Build Back Better plan passed.
their home for the holidays or to afford them the life-saving drug that they need or their loved one needs to survive. Shane, would you like to come up and say a few words here?
Absolutely.
Well, I'd like to welcome Shane Asadzandi, who is the Monongalia County Democratic Executive Committee County State Chair. What? Come over and introduce yourself. I'm sorry, I have too many titles in my head right now.
That's okay.
That's a lot of letters.
You want me to,
I'll give you that one.
Which one do you press?
Yeah,
Need
need
a
to press
play?
anything.
Testing. Oh, cool. Okay. Hi everyone. So as Troy said, my name is Shane Asadzandi, and I am the chair of the Monongalia County Democratic Executive Committee. I'm going to read an abridged version of a statement that we passed in late October with also some of my own commentary. It says, we support President Joe Biden's Build Back Better Act. We support transformational investments for children and families, seniors, and saving the planet, which benefits all of us. Specifically, we support investments for expansion of Medicare to include hearing care for seniors, giving Medicare authority to negotiate lower drug prices, universal pre-kindergarten, investments in child care, home, and community-based care, extension of child tax credits and paid family leave, and the creation of an estimated 30,000 new permanent good-paying jobs in the state of West Virginia. Everybody, whether they're a Democrat, Republican, or an independent voter in our great state, will benefit from Build Back Better and its transformational whole, and the Monongalia County Democratic Executive Committee urges Senator Manchin to pass these bills by any means necessary. Speaking more candidly, I'm kind of shocked that we have to come out here in the cold on a Thursday afternoon and advocate for this, because this is common sense. It should be a no-brainer. We have already compromised on the compromise on the compromise. This should be the bill that passes. We know that West Virginia has a high percentage of individuals who experience poverty or they're lower income. We have a very high percentage of seniors as well. And we know that in particular, the people of West Virginia desperately need lower prescription drug prices, which this act would provide. Investing in our own people should be a no-brainer, and Senator Manchin knows that, so he needs to pass this bill in its entirety now. Well, preferably 2 months ago, but we'll take it now. Thank you.
We're, like I said, we're here in Morgantown, where a lot of students expressed interest in coming to this rally, but it's finals time. Lots of people are filling out their final papers, taking final exams, doing final projects. I want Joe Manchin to do the same thing, and to come into winter break having voted yes on Build Back Better. You can have a fantastic winter break, Joe, just like all the students here, but you need to go into your office and you need to say you're going to vote yes and move this bill forward. I believe we have medical students here. I'm looking at them. There we are. I was looking for a blue code. And this is Amanda, who's going to also speak to that same thing.
Hi, my name is Amanda Ruffman. I am a medical.
You have to hold it pretty close.
I am a medical student at the WVU School of Medicine. I'm here today representing our chapter of Students for a National Health Program. One of the big things that we advocate for is being able to negotiate drug prices to make them affordable for our patients. One of the first things that we learn in our first year of medical school is that whenever your patients come to you and they don't seem to be getting better, their blood pressure is not improving, their blood sugar is getting worse, one of the top things you have to consider is that they can't afford their medicines. And that's shameful. We live in the richest country in the world. I can't, and my classmates can't, make our patients healthier. We can't heal anyone who can't afford the prices that the pharmaceutical companies are holding us ransom for. And I guess that's all I have to say. Thanks.
Thank you so much. And they are holding us ransom. They raise prices every year because they can, because their investors demand it, and because they pay themselves more to do it. And they can hire a few more lobbyists to go to Joe Manchin's office and others and tell them that this is impossible, that this would destroy the pharmaceutical industry. And it will not. It won't. But it will save lives. It will save West Virginians' lives. Melinda, would you like to say something?
Hi, my name's Melinda St. Louis. I am a Morgantown native. I went to North Elementary School right next to the Milan plant. I was a Golden Horseshoe finalist, for those who I'm very proud to say, in the 8th grade on West Virginia history. And one of the things I will note about West Virginia history is that it's a rich history of people mobilizing and organizing together for their rights against the coal mining companies that were oppressing people from the Civil War. This is a state of people who have organized and who for their rights. And I think Senator Manchin needs to stand up now in that history, in the history of resistance and of providing and coming together for each other. I had the opportunity, I work with Public Citizen, which is a partner of Social Security Works, and we're proud to be connected and working to lower drug prices, to add hearing benefits to Medicare, and all of the other very important progressive priorities in the Build Back Better Act. I had the opportunity to kayak with a group of West Virginians to Senator Manchin's houseboat in Washington, D.C. Several weeks ago. And I spoke to him about these issues. He came out, he talked to us, which we appreciated, after we yelled at him for a while, and then he did come out. And I asked him about lowering prescription drug prices, and he said, I am with you 1,000%. So we are thrilled to know that Senator Manchin is with us 1,000% in lowering prescription drug prices in the Build Back Better Act. We know this is the time to do it. If you're with us, we have to do it now. Next year is not going to cut it. We know what the situation is politically. Build Back Better is the time. And you can do it now. We believe that you will do the right thing. So I want to ask, will you follow me in a song for a moment? Okay, all right. West Virginia's in the fight.
West Virginia's in the fight.
Senator Manchin, do what's right.
Senator Manchin, do what's right.
We need health care right away.
We need health care right away.
Build Back Better, don't delay.
Build Back Better, don't delay.
Thank you, everyone.
It reminds me of the old Pete Seeger song, Which Side Are You On, Boys? Which side are you on, Joe? Are you on the side of pharmaceutical greed and more corporate profits and more West Virginians dying? Or are you on the side of West Virginians who need more affordable, lower drug prices right now? We want you, we need you, to not just say you're for lower pharmaceutical drug prices, but to show us and vote yes on Build Back Better. Does anyone else like to add anything before we, here we are. Please introduce yourself and I'll hold this up for you.
Hi, my name's Eve Fox. You've heard from me before, Joe, because I write frequently and I call frequently. I just retired after 42 years teaching graphic design at West Virginia University, and I'm a native, one of the few that was a native in my college, and I also have been trying to pay back West Virginia for my education. I was poor growing up, but I went to college. I had white privilege that helped me go there. I went to be trained to be a designer at the master's level, and when I came back, I traveled the state, put 92,000 miles on my car while I was working to design 5 different textbooks on West Virginia history and West Virginia government. So I've done my homework, and I'm old enough that I remember when politics wasn't about gaming. I remember when we decently didn't try to pull the fast one with media. Media is my field. So I know when there are billboards going around the state that are congratulating you for doing the right thing, funded by the Republican Party, you are not actually doing what we have told you in polls of 70% of West Virginians supporting this bill. I also continue to work with communities, and and I continue to work with nonprofits, and I hear their stories. So even though I have white privilege, I know people who don't. I'm good friends with, this is not like an ad, this is a real friend of mine. And she's among the grandmothers in West Virginia who are taking care of kids and doing it on their kind of disability pension. So we have the most need of any state in terms of our status, our health stats, our poverty numbers, all kinds of reasons we will benefit more than anybody from the Build Back Better Act. And so I'm asking you as a West Virginian who shouldn't have forgotten all these stories and should be listening now, we need Build Back Better, and we need it right now before this session goes away for break. Thank you.
35,000 children in West Virginia are being raised with their grandparents as their primary caregivers. That's about 8% of all the children in West Virginia under the age of 19. Many of those grandparents are on fixed income. Many of them are on Medicare. All of those would benefit from lower pharmaceutical drug prices. Joe, this is very clear. You're on the side of their profits, the pharmaceutical profits, or our lives. Thank you all for coming. We're going to keep on getting this message out here. We're going to keep on calling Joe. We're going to keep on calling him at the number behind me here at 304-368-0567. And we're going to be sending this billboard truck around the state for another week so that there is no chance that Joe Manchin can miss the message here. You're either on the side of West Virginians or you're on the side of pharmaceutical greed. Thank you. Build back better. Build back better. Build back better. Build back better. Build back better.
Okay. I think it was recording. It said live.
I see some comments.